My dear friends, I'm Dr. Shadman Zaman. I hope all of you are doing well. So, welcome to my channel. Now, let's talk about today the Tory Conference, or let's say the Tory difference. That's what we got to see. Now, I'll be first very honest. This reminded me of the 2018 2019 labor conferences where Corbyn, where under Corbyn and Corbynism, it used to be a fight between the center left and the hard left, and there was so much bickering and so much things. Like I think, if I remember, in 2019, Tom Watson all on a sudden on that first day of the conference faced an election by John Lansman and all of that. Uh, that day when I realized that the Corbynism was dead, when 2 days of a conference was wasted on Palestine and Kashmir by Labour Party. That was the moment Corbynism was dead in the water. They didn't talk about Brexit, housing crisis, and everything. They just talked about those two things. Anyways, coming back to the Tory difference, I don't know what to say. It's just been. This reminded me of those days, of those Corbyn days. So much infighting. Yes, Tory party is a broad church, although not all local associations are a broad church. But the Tory party is a broad church. I have seen it myself. But the broad church is respectful, according to my experience when I was the Tory party member. No respect was there. No respect was there. My goodness, what was happening? Anyways, let's start. Liz Truss is for turning. All the Thatcherite talk. I don't understand why politicians give those talks when they can't back it up. Liz Truss looks so inept. She has lost all credibility. She was the one who said, I will be happy to take unpopular decisions. I'm not scared to take unpopular decisions. She repeated it in her speech as well. But the first moment the markets tanked and the polls tanked, the decision turned as well. And yeah, gone is the 45p tax cut. That actually only amounted to 2 billion. You still have 43 billion as well, which are unaccounted for. The worst part of all of it is the blame is going on to Kwasi Kwarteng. Now, Kwasi Kwarteng is a very educated and very humble and very educated and I don't know, a very wise person. For him to be thrown under the bus by Liz Truss, and I think because of his friendship with Liz Truss, he has taken the bullet here for Liz Truss, which is honorable, which he is. I feel like he's getting so much of the blame, and like this is the saddest bit because he's actually a very, very wise person, and the fact that he has been sort of targeted on every side by everyone, and he's shielding Liz Truss is so sad to say that this is happening to him. A good person not getting the right treatment. But that's politics, unfortunately. Now, Liz Truss, let's say this. Her speech wasn't bad. I listened to the whole speech. It wasn't inspiring, inspirational like Keir Starmer or Boris Johnson. It wasn't that, but it wasn't bad. It could have been worse. I think the Greenpeace protesters, again, nut jobs, idiots, they actually, we can talk about them, leftist idiots, later, but on another day. But I think their idiocy actually allowed Liz Truss to unite the room because initially hardly anyone was clapping. Yes, you'll get the customary claps in any speech, but hardly the bigger audience wasn't clapping. But because of them, the audience actually united. And when the audience claps, the speech looks better. Any speech looks better when the audience claps. That's theory 101 on public speaking. Now, the fact that the markets didn't crash after her speech means it's okay. It wasn't a solid speech. It wasn't a fluid speech. It was a thereabout speech, no policy, nothing. She just tried to drum up the support. But it's sad. It's sad that the standard has come to the fact that level that your speech doesn't crash the market is a good speech. If that's the standard, it's really sad. Now, coming back, uh, I think the conference showed us some things. Like Michael Gove, who initially supported Kemi Badenoch and then Liz Truss, he he openly revolted. Penny Mordaunt, the woke candidate, supported by a lot of like Bury councillors, Bury conservative councillors, initially. Penny Mordaunt, she sort of now she also revolted against Truss. Um, Obviously, Grant Shapps did, which sort of forced the U-turn. Now, having said that, Swilla Breverman, the new Home Secretary, I know she's playing and pandering to the crowd, and you do pander to the crowd when you're in a sort of fringe event. That happens. You do pander to the crowd when you are in those type of fringe events because it's a small event. You know the crowd. You know what type of crowd it will be, what type of questions it will be, what will get you the clicks, the followers, and everything. In terms of like winning over the room. Now, Swilla Braverman's use of the word coup is a very unnecessary use. Coups are coups are deadly. This wasn't deadly. This was a party having a discussion. Okay, it was too public, but coups are deadly. The use of the word was so unnecessary. Now, there is another angle developing, and this is something very important, my friends, in the Conservative Party. It's the Badenoch versus Braverman angle. Now, it is my understanding, after talking to some certain elements within the party that Badenoch wanted either the Home Secretary or the Foreign Secretary. She was given the international trade, which has a lot of foreign role, and kept out of sort of the four big internal domestic portfolios. But uh, the conservative, let's say, the conservative, how do we put it? The conservative establishment wants Braverman to take over after Truss, which is why you are seeing Braverman being ushered into more like bigger, prominent roles, prominent media roles, prominent everything. And that's a problem in the sense that Braverman is not as popular as Badenoch. Now, Kemi Badenoch has a natural anti-establishment appeal because she is anti-establishment. She has worked her whole life uh, being an anti-woke in that sense, and she knows what she's talking about on these issues. Now, when you're playing to the crowd, like Suella Braverman was doing, it it came across with the word coup, and it's just sad because this is not how it should be. This is not how it should be. But this is one to watch how Braverman versus Badenoch plays out, and I was a huge fan of Kemi Badenoch. I was a huge fan of Tom Tugendhat as well. Um, it was sad that none of them were allowed to move on to the next stages. But Braverman never, I think, was out after the first round. So it's how it is. It's politics. But Suella Braverman is clearly the next, or being prepared to be the next in line, whereas Kemi Badenoch is being slowly sidelined. And yeah, I think one more thing was, let's be sure about one thing: leveling up is dead. There is no leveling up. What Boris actually tried, but yeah, leveling up is dead. There will not be a leveling up. Uh, they will use the slogans, but I think people have seen it for what it is. There is nothing. It's not happening anymore. Having said that, I think I agree with Nadine Doris. There should be an early election. We need an early election. We need an election. This is a mess. Liz Truss has no mandate. She can't control her own MPs. She has no idea of what the next move would be. We have no idea of what her next move would be, and she doesn't either. And that's the problem when your prime minister is not sure what is happening or what she's going to do next, what's her next big policy announcement would be. Uh, I think we need an early election. We need an election, and uh, they won't give an election because they will be wiped off the map at this rate. But we need an election to have a clear mandate because technically, yes, Liz Truss is technically the legitimate prime minister, and I have no problem with that. That's how the laws and rules work. But morally, she has no credibility. And I know in politics, morality always doesn't matter. But I think in this case, the vacuum of morality in the Truss administration is is sort of rotting it is sort of rotting in and eating the administration within itself. And it's sad. It's sad how this is turning it to be. It's starting to drag, and I hope Liz Truss does the right thing by giving a general election, a national election. Thank you, my friends. Hope you have a good rest of the week. And yeah, please subscribe to my channel, YouTube channel, and please follow my Facebook page. And take care. And I hope for my Hindu friends and Hindu communities, and for my Jewish friends and Jewish communities, the Durga Puja went well, and the fast for Yom Kippur also went well. Take care, my friends. Bye bye.